It's the Heckleproof Comedy Podcast with Zach Bolton and Carl Lee and Matty J.
What's up, peeps? We are back with episode 3. Welcome to Heckleproof Podcast, man. Welcome to Heckleproof Podcast. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. What's up to Hawaiian Hut? What's up to Chadwick's Pub?
Oh, yeah, and the Medford Ride and Custom Show.
That's right. This
And
is
of
episode
course,
3.
Road Comedy
Road
Underground.
Comedy Underground.
Yeah, Carl, what are you thinking, dude? Shout everybody out, man.
I gotta get that money in.
Right, you
Gotta
can
get
tell
that
who's
money
paying him
in.
the most amount.
That's the truth. Exactly. Whoever I say first, that means
Hawaiian
you
Hut.
are contributing the most money.
Hey, why'd you say Hawaiian Hut 7 times? I'm going to say the other ones.
First of all, I just want to start this podcast off by saying how much I love you guys so much.
Oh,
thank you so
man.
much.
I love you too, Dad.
I love shit. I didn't want them to know. I didn't want them to know.
Every episode,
You always got to ruin those delicate moments.
So exactly,
every episode, you got to act like it's a surprise every single time.
exactly.
Like,
Man.
you guys do that joke every episode.
So I got to show you guys some love, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something I noticed, man. Like working with you two, how talented you are, man. You guys know all that technical shit and the background shit. You guys are just like brilliant. A lot of people don't know. Like Matty, man, how many instruments do you play?
3? Yeah.
Damn.
Unless you count the bong.
Oh shit.
Right.
The bongo.
That's
the
the
bongo.
That's the only wind instrument that I've ventured into. Exactly.
That's exactly what I was trying to do.
That sounds like
just a
Predator
little bit
hitting the bong.
ago. My gap got in the way.
Predator.
My gap tooth got in the way. I couldn't make
Your
that
gap in
sound.
fatherhood.
We're going to go backtracking on these old jokes.
I
Thanks
like
for
it,
tuning
though.
in to episode 3.
Yeah.
If you're
Oh,
just
that
now-
shit,
if
that
you're
shit
just now
carried on. Up
tuning
until
in.
now.
So here's the thing. Now that we're on episode 3, I want to make a point to let you guys know that you can find this in so many places now. It's not
Everywhere.
just on streaming services. You can be able to find it on YouTube.
Yep.
Where else can you find us?
Instagram.
Facebook,
Hey, Instagram. Facebook. the
Grinder.
Facebook. Maybe not on that one.
Oh,
Blackpeoplemeet.com.
that
just
shit don't
Zach,
even
though.
exist anymore.
It's just Zach has a profile on it now.
Black people meet blackpeople.com. Ain't nothing
No,
like a
and
black woman.
We're gonna have a TikTok too.
That power
we're gonna
couple
have
and
a
that
TikTok,
black
that's right.
woman.
showing highlights and funny clips that we have.
And then where can you find us streaming wise?
Oh man, any of the major platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We'll have the videos on there if you want to watch the videos. Which I mean, you want to see our pretty faces,
That's
of course.
true. So pretty.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere you could think of finding a podcast, we will be there.
All right.
And we have vinyls coming out too.
Yeah, we got some albums coming out.
8 tracks.
We will actually have album covers too. We gonna be on album covers.
That's all we're gonna publish. There's actually no music. It's just these brilliant, cheesy album covers.
exactly. And you can actually use your album cover for a what is it called when you sweep up?
Oh, a dustpan?
Dustpan, yes, that's what I grew up on. My mother used to use
grew up in a
album
dustpan?
covers. My mom used to use album covers for fucking dustpans,
really?
bro.
Right.
At least the shitty albums, anyway.
Yeah, these shitty albums. Let me.
That's how you could tell if it was a good album. She's not going to use that. That's
She'll give
Luther
a shit.
Vandross.
She
Don't
will
you
leave-
dust with Luther
Don't you dust with loafer.
Loofah.
Don't you dust with loafer.
Keith Sweat off the
That's
floor.
my leaf. No, my mom was way before Keith Sweat. That was me. I'm Keith Sweat.
True, I forgot.
That's
You're-
what you would say to me
I
as your
forgot. You're
dad.
60.
That's what you would say to me as your dad. Dad, can I use your Keith Sweat album? Hell no.
Hell no.
What my Keith Sweat album? I know they ain't my new edition album cover.
Your dad was asking for Keith Sweat. You like get out the house. It's not your. It's time to go outside and play. Dad grabbed the Keith Sweat album.
Oh my gosh. Hey, speaking of albums, people that don't know this, but Carl was a stand-in for Boyz II Men. He was the deep voice talking in the R&B tracks.
That was me, baby.
You were
That
the
was
one.
me, baby.
You were the one that said "girl" every 15 minutes.
Hey, girl.
I want to be able to do the version like, cause he's always saying something sweet like, cause I feel pain too, baby.
Yeah, he's just.
I know. I want to just want to say, hey, baby, trust me, I got burnt first, not you. Okay.
Or he's just reels like, "Hey, you need to check yourself, baby. Baby, you know you over the line, and it's time you back the fuck down." But it's like to really romantic music. Baby, you know you lost your temper at Denny's.
A nice way of telling her she's wrong.
And And that's what they
front
should
of
use.
everybody.
They should use him to do commercials like to get attention.
Yeah.
Like, get your prostate checked. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Whoa, say that.
because I'll never forget, man, when I was riding my load, this is when I realized I gotta get my prostate checked. This was
That's
my
where we're
reminder.
at now in the
Nice segue
podcast.
there.
Well, shit.
Welcome to the
This
prostate
is-
check-in.
This is how I got my reminder. I'm jamming in the car, right? Next thing you know, a commercial come on. If you were a teenager when Prince Purple Rain came out, you probably need your prostate check. I was like, well, fuck, that's me.
Hey, don't say jamming and
That's
prostate in the
me.
same sentence, please.
But look, wait.
Yeah,
So
phrasing, Carl, phrasing.
Yeah.
So what would it be for you? Like, if you were a teenager when
Oh, mine would be like, if you grew up on NSYNC. If Justin Timberlake had ramen noodle hair, you need to get your prostate checked.
Robert, thank you. Nobody said that shit but me because Odell Beckham and Justin
yep.
Timberlake got ramen noodle hair.
Got the
Chicken
ramens.
flavor. Chicken flavor.
Chicken
flavor.
Or even the flavor before you even put the chicken on it, just the noodles.
No, it added that
No,
color.
the yellow.
When
Yeah,
you throw
you're
that
right.
chicken
You're right.
color.
It's the dusty yellow.
You ever tried to open one?
You ever eat that shit dry? I used to eat that shit dry as a kid.
Wait, what are we talking about again?
Ramen
Ramen noodles.
Oh,
I used to crush
you
them
said
up.
eat that shit dry, and I went into different places.
Wait, what are we talking about again? I'll knock the dust off that
I was about
ramen
to
noodle.
say, if you don't know the shit about ramen noodles, Matty, I thought you didn't know. I was gonna say, whoa, Matty.
Oh no.
What's ramen noodles?
Yeah. I'm like one of those privileged kids. What's mac and cheese? I never heard of that.
Bologna.
Like, Mummy always took me to the restaurant.
He's heard of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Not just-
Kraft.
Kraft, not macaroni and cheese. I grew up with Kraft macaroni.
I
and
grew up
cheese.
with crap macaroni and cheese.
Exactly.
Dude, my best friend's mom used to make the bombest mac and cheese, like homemade. It had,
Stovetop?
No. She baked in the
Yeah.
oven. And it was, so good, dude. And it had like, I don't know, like 10 different cheeses. I don't even know half these cheeses exist, but it was so good.
If you're just now tuning in, the guys are talking about ramen noodles.
This was actually mac and cheese, brought to you by ramen noodles.
And the Dollar Tree.
How did we get so far from glory? We had 2 great episodes, and then we just spent the
Welcome
third
back.
one on crap foods. Like, hey, let's talk about some box preservative foods.
Box preservative food.
Because a lot of people can relate.
Processed.
A lot of people can relate. We all grew up in some hard times eventually, I feel like.
Most
some
definitely,
point.
man. I think I don't know about you guys. I didn't grow up with a dad.
I didn't. My parents were off and on, and I don't talk to them anymore either. So I kind of grew up without parents.
Right? I had a dad around, but he was like that. He was like that old school dad of like, go back and bother your mother. You know, it was like,
He was just there. He was just there.
But
He
it's
was
like,
just
Dad,
there.
can I help you work on the car? No. Go ask your mother if she needs help.
Was
You
he
know?
always in the garage and shit?
He was always anywhere but in the house with us.
I feel like I'm envisioning your dad as like Clint Eastwood.
No, my dad is funny because I was adopted, so you can't really visualize it because you look at me and you wouldn't see it. But my dad, he looked a lot like, imagine if Tom Selleck, back in the Magnum PI days,
Yeah.
like
Oh, okay.
young Tom Selleck. Imagine if Tom Selleck had like that awkward brother that everybody's like, oh, you're twins, and the mom and the dad were like, they're twins, and everybody else in the world was like, you know,
Yeah.
Like, so my dad looked like the awkward brother of Tom Selleck. He was just like, he had the mustache and sort of kind of looked like him, but he's like real lanky and gangly.
Damn,
and it didn't match up.
Yep.
So he was like, you know, regular Magnum was like PI. And like, I don't know, he was like Magnum didn't try, or I don't know what he would call him.
Magnum didn't try. Magnum
didn't
PI and Magnum didn't try.
My dad looked like Babyface on heroin
Really? Wow.
because he was on heroin.
My dad was too.
That's how he
actually.
got that baby face.
My dad was slim,
Yeah.
like you can tell. My dad was truly a '70s brother. He was slim and wore polyester and them
Had the pimp walk.
popped the collars and shit. But
Did he have the flare out bell bottom?
I gotta ask my mom. I never met that nigga.
Did he carry a handkerchief? You know,
Yeah.
put his hand and swing his arm when he walks.
Let me ask my mom.
Yeah, let me ask you. Yeah, he's like, let me ask my mom all the
Let me ask
questions
my mom.
I always should have.
Yeah.
Because pretty much what happened is like Carl's dad leaves, right, and then Carl's mom is like, hey, honey, are you curious about your dad? And like, hell no, I
Hell
don't
no.
give a fuck.
Man,
That's
my
so
mom,
funny.
my mom forces the education of my dad on me.
Right.
Over the,
She forced-
Like, sit down,
over
I'm
the-
gonna tell you a
till
story
this
about
day.
dad.
Till this day,
Carl's like,
she's
"Nah."
FaceTiming me. Well, time to talk about your dad and pull up a seat like this. This bitch.
It's your,
Wow, he's gone. He's not coming back.
yeah, it's your weekly viewing.
I tell you the truth though, I never went through life feeling like I needed him or wanted him.
Yeah, because your mom doubled it.
My mom doubled up.
Yeah, I could just.
doubled
Well,
up.
you could tell by the person you are that she fucking did her job, man.
Thank you, man.
Oh, your mom. That's a good mom compliment. Mom's
did
like
her
this kind of
job.
compliment.
She just turned 74 on the 23rd. She just turned.
She looks
saw
good
that-
too.
I
I
saw
saw the
that
picture. She
Facebook.
looks
Yeah.
good, man. She looks good.
She's dope, man. I had to give her props because my mom is like, if you could look back at anything in your childhood that made a difference in your life, what would it be that really changed you and let you know like this is the direction I'm going? What can you say that would be?
For me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today without my grandparents. Mm-hmm. They were my saving grace for sure. Like, but my parents weren't there, so I didn't have anything to fall back on. My grandparents stepped up to the plate, and those are who I consider being my parents.
Yeah.
So my grandparents are my parents, and I'll say that till the day I die.
Is there any particular thing that they allowed or just let you do or be that made a difference? Like let you, because it put me on the path. For the reason why I'm asking, because my mom, she let me go when I was about 15, 16 years old, go see Eddie Murphy live.
Oh wow!
I took a road trip with her because I got a little job at a restaurant, man. Loved being a dishwasher
Damn,
back
you got
then.
to see Eddie live.
I got to see Eddie Murphy do Raw live.
Dude,
and my
that's
mom
insane.
allowed me to, my boss would take me on a road trip to go see Eddie Murphy live. And because I was already a huge Eddie Murphy fan, and she knew it. She knew it, man. So she allowed that to be, and that played a big part in like my progression to become a comic. Huge.
It's those things like that, the moments like that really shape you as a person. Because look where you're at in life now. Look at what you've been doing the whole time.
Hell
You know,
yeah.
Had you not done that, you might not be.
There's
where
no
you're
telling exactly because I got to see it. Because I wasn't old enough to go to comedy clubs, but I can buy a ticket to go see Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Back
Yeah.
then, that shit was probably like $25.
at. Right. I think for me, mine was like there wasn't any like censorship from my grandparents. Like if I wanted to listen to certain music or watch certain movie, they allowed me to, and that's where I developed my love for rap and for R&B and music because they didn't care what I was listening to. I could listen to whatever I wanted to listen to, and that's when I got into making music and dabbling in that and doing my own thing with that. And so
Yeah.
I think that's part of it too. And the other thing was I would try to be honest with my grandma that I smoked weed in high school, and she just always thought I was joking, but I'm like truly trying to tell her that, hey, grandma.
You're so funny.
Yeah, she would be like, oh, what are you guys doing tonight? And I'm like, oh, we're going to go smoke some weed and probably eat some snacks. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do a whole bag of meth. And I'm like, no, grandma, we're literally going to smoke weed. And she's like, yep, I'm doing my bag right now. And I'm like, fuck, I tried to tell you.
You were watching Denial in real time.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? She didn't think that she didn't know, because to this day I ask her, I'm like, did you know I smoked weed in high school? She's like, no, I didn't have a clue. And I'm like, well, because there was a time I remember vividly that we went and smoked, and then we came back to my grandma's house. They had the RV parked out front. She comes in at 2 a.m. with a fresh plate of brownies, cooked at 2 a.m. She's like, I made some brownies for you and your friends. And I'm like, you got to know we're high.
Right.
She had no clue. But I was like, you're a saint.
No, I got stories like that for sure.
So good, though.
When is y'all?
Mine was like, it was different because my mom is awesome. She's definitely the person that made me not take a lot of life seriously, like take the important stuff serious, but really take all of the people's weirdness and all the bullshit and society thing not as serious. But
Yeah.
really mine was I was in an environment I didn't want to be in. It wasn't a bad environment. It just wasn't a fit. And because of who I was around, I also knew what I didn't want to be.
That's dope.
More than what I
That's
did.
really important.
Because I was raised on like a farm, straight up cattle ranch.
In Oregon?
Here. Yeah, and you'd never know it
In Medford?
knowing me. In
Right.
Eagle Point.
Oh, okay.
And it was like huge. I mean, like 500 head of cattle and
Damn.
like working horses and stuff like that.
Jeez.
So it was a very different kind of upbringing than what you would expect. But part of it was most of the respectable people I met were women, and most of the men, it was like a lot of this redneck cowboy old school influence. And I watched a lot of things happen I wasn't comfortable with, and I didn't think were that cool. And so
Like what?
yeah, right.
Like what?
Like squeal like a pig.
Oh, deliverance.
No, I just the way that people got treated, or like back then, especially when I was growing up, racism in small towns was still like a 50-50 thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
even like in the closet, and so I saw a lot of that kind of stuff, and like the way women were treated, and the way that people were kind of just living for their next chance to drink a whole bunch of beer and
Right.
get trashed. And I just decided early on that didn't align with who I was, and that I didn't feel like I belonged on a farm. And so that was kind of what the catalyst was for me, trying to become something very different from what I was, if you will, and go to where I wanted to be.
So what played a role in you guys like shaping your character for you to, you know what I mean? Because I fuck with you guys. Because I fuck with you guys for a reason. Because like I said, I love you guys. You guys are just like talented, smart, just good dudes. And it's not because I believe in the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I believe in you attract
energy,
who you are.
Yeah.
Not what you want or whatever you attract.
Right.
What you. So
I agree with that.
So what was it you think that helped shaped you?
I got a formative one on that one, and it's so funny because it's both a good and a negative influence. Like I heard this man say some things that like really made me question him, but at the same time I also heard him say some brilliant stuff. And I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. And I remember my grandfather, I would just kind of hang out with him during the day. And he would go do all this cool stuff. And being a rancher, he would go like negotiate for cows and like go grab hay and find medicine for the animals and all these different things you had to do. So I'd go on these errands. And one day we're in the middle of this errand. He had showed up to this guy's house and he was really upset about some deal they had made about farm equipment or something like that. And so I watched him like pull a chunk of money out of his pocket and pay the guy a few $100 and shake hands and then get back in the truck. And I asked him, I didn't hear the conversation, but I asked him, "Oh, what did you buy, Grandpa?" And he said, "I didn't buy anything, but that guy was upset because I made a deal with him and he felt like he didn't get his money's worth. So I wanted to make it right by him. And that way, you know, he feels good about it." And then I didn't really say much. I was just like, okay, because again, you know, I'm like 7, 8.
Yeah.
And then like a minute later, he just said the following phrase that I'll never forget. He said, "A man is only as good as his word."
That's the truth.
Yep. Very true.
And that one statement,
that's crazy,
has really been formative because with my life, like I've had a pretty crazy, interesting life. But at the same time, when I do what I do or when I make the choices that I do, I've always thought about that. Like, am I honoring my word to people who matter to me? And as long as I am, I feel good about it. But it goes beyond that because what he's really saying is like a man is only as good as his reputation. And us being in a smaller area, that's what made me, you know, I think about that whole like, how are you off camera? What do you do when no one's looking kind of thing? That's your true character.
Yeah.
It is.
And his whole point was that if you have character that's unquestionable, then you're good. And and that's what you would in Ashland speak call community. Like if you are really true and you follow through on your word, your community will have your back.
Right.
That's
crazy that you say that because that was the same lesson that I was going to talk about. It wasn't in the same setting that yours was necessarily, seeing it from like your grandfather's perspective. Mine was growing up and seeing my parents make mistakes, my sister and my brother make mistakes. I'm the only one in my family without a felony. Isn't that weird to say?
No, that's not
crazy. I mean, to me, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though. I know.
I was the youngest on my mom's side. And then on my dad's side, I have 2 little sisters. They're not felons, but I'm talking about mainly on my mom's side, where I grew up, because I was already grown up when they were, you know, growing up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so mine was just watching my brother and my sister constantly make mistakes, and I noticed a lot of it was either, you know, from them not keeping their word or them not being honest or them not being truthful. And so I saw this stuff happen, and in my mind, I was like, you know, I was a kid, so I see it happen. I'm like, well, I don't want that to happen to me, so I'm going to go take this. I'm going to take this road. I'm going to take a different road.
That's the benefit of the younger sibling, man. You get to watch those mistakes.
Yeah, so,
that's true.
So I'm really the black sheep of my family. Don't get me wrong. My
like
sister.
Technically, you're the white sheep of the family. You're like, it's like you're the one kid that went to college, and the rest of the family is like, you'll never be nothing. Yeah. You should stay here and work.
I'm the only one that graduated high school.
Yes.
I'm the only one that graduated high school, so it's kind of the same thing. But
wow. You mean how many siblings?
Well, for my older sibling, my brother and my sister, I have 2 older siblings, and then I was the only one that graduated out of my family and went to college for a little bit, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Exactly. College. But my younger sister one of my younger sisters is in college. The other one's struggling with school, but she's slowly starting to figure it out. So hopefully she can figure it out. But the whole character thing, back to that, was just learning from their mistakes and then just kind of sculpting who I wanted to be as a person based off of that, and saying, you know, I don't want to go down that road. I don't want to disappoint people like that. And also having my grandparents, again, like I said, as my role models, was My grandpa was the coolest guy ever, and he was a man of his word, and he cared about people, and he like, it was just, I don't know how to explain it, but when I envision who I want to be as a man, that's who I think of every single time.
I can go there with my grandfather too. My grandfather, because going back to what Matty was saying about what he witnessed his dad making that currency exchange.
Yeah.
My grandfather, I didn't even realize it's like how the type of environment I grew up in, how awesome and privileged I was.
Right.
I didn't realize it because my mom was a teenage mom twice.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom made decisions that landed us in the projects.
Right.
Because my grandparents were very well off and very established. My grandmother was the first black and first woman to be vice mayor of my city, back in Virginia Beach, where I grew up. She was. And my grandfather owned a dry cleaning business, and he owned apartment complexes.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Businessman.
Yeah, so, but, and he didn't have an education. My grandfather always talked about growing up in the country with nothing in North Carolina and having to stop going to school in elementary school to go help out on the farm and do things. My grandfather built a brick home in 1962 in Virginia, which is like the home of slavery. It is.
That's a strong statement to come up like I'm coming back.
It's like a mascot. Is that the mascot?
Right. It is, man. It's like when somebody know I'm coming from Oregon to visit, they be like, you gonna bring in some of the Oregon weed? If somebody know I'm coming from Virginia, you gonna bring in some of that Virginia cotton with you?
Oh my God.
You gonna bring some Virginia Slims?
Virginia Slims.
But guess how he got that house? On a handshake.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. And he stuck to his... To this day, the house is still there. My mom owns it now.
If you trace real estate title back far enough, that's why sometimes they have a hard time proving true title in real estate is because a lot of deals were based on a handshake deal.
Yeah.
And it absolutely was
crazy.
Well, and that's funny you brought that up too, because I just learned not too long ago that I got the literature not too long ago. I got to look at it again. But some blacks were experiencing that. Their property was taken from them because you had no proof of it.
What?
And it's in like somewhere in North Carolina where a lot of that was taking place.
The poorer the area, the more likely it was they weren't keeping a lot of records.
Right, right.
Because
so
it's easy to get
away
black.
with something like that.
It was just known, too. It was like that family had raised 7 generations on that property. Everyone knows that's, the Smith's property or whatever it might be. But in bigger cities, it's turning over quicker. And so they kept records. And so when you buy that rural property in the middle of nowhere, sometimes it's like it can take up to months for them to figure out who really has title.
Well, because even like I said, especially back then when blacks were on the property, they didn't have the right to own anything. You know what I mean? So they didn't sign, and they what they gonna put an X? And you feel what I'm saying? Because that was signature at one point, an X.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Because that means
if you're not literate, how you?
It's so crazy to see how much times have changed. My grandma bought her first house for $17,000, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Ooh.
Down payment was painting the house.
Damn.
$17,000. You can't get a car for $17,000.
No, you can't.
That's insane.
I disagree with that.
Well,
you might not want to.
Okay,
you can't
get a new car.
Not the one you want.
I mean, you can. You can get a Kia.
Several cars for that much.
Not the one you want.
I know a couple gentlemen on methamphetamines that'll pick you up like 5 or 6 cars for that.
Man, I tell you what. The first car my mom gave me was a 1983 Chevette. 1983 Chevette.
What is that?
Thank you. Google it. That's all the fuck I'm gonna say.
Mine was a 1984.
Look at us,
and I'm
Kevin Hart all of a sudden,
and I'm 40 years younger than you.
Yeah,
1984 Nissan Stanza.
Damn,
you know what that is?
Yeah,
it had a sliding door. It had a sliding door.
Beat on that. I had a '64 Toyota Hilux.
Look at our weird ass cars.
You know what a Toyota?
You know what a
Toyota Hilux is? A Toyota Hilux is like the predecessor to the Chevy Love. You remember that tiny little Chevy Love truck?
Yep.
Toyota
that
did
Chevy
it
Love
first.
truck. Yeah.
and
yes,
so,
they sure did.
And I pimped out that ride, man.
Yes,
dude.
I couldn't pimp out my Chevette. It was the only thing. The only thing I loved about it was Carolina Blue, like University of North Carolina, because I'm a Carolina fan.
You're always repping those.
Yeah, so that's why I was lying like, no, this.
Mine was the same color. Mine was the same color.
See,
we all had blue cars.
Yours was blue too.
Mine was blue.
We all had blue cars, and what the hell?
I'm Zach's dad for real.
Have only blue cars.
So my uncle took the seats out of my Stanza because he didn't want me driving people around, but that made it worse because I had,
Whoa,
I had
that's cold.
My uncle gave it to me, and he's like, "Here's your gift for passing your license." I thought he was gonna give me the Honda Element, and he gives me this old BM. I mean, I was grateful to have a car. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, "Dang it." But he took the seats out, and it had this sliding door, and that just gave me more room to fit more people in an illegal way. So I'm like, really, you're doing a disservice.
Each other, stacking them.
Yep.
That's what my homeboy did with his Z28. He had a Z28 like that. Just used to
I can get.
I had a Z28 too.
Get up in there.
Get 6 of us in the back seat. Remember those days like cruising on lunch from high school? You just like piling,
man,
like clowns in the car. You know,
they even did that in my day, guys.
So simple.
That's why I said remember.
So it was so simple then, wasn't it? It was simple for us, wasn't it, Matty?
No.
Whatever, Carl. You went to segregated school.
Shit, no, I didn't, dude. That was a problem.
Where did you go to high school? Did you go to high school in Virginia?
Yeah, I went to 3 different high schools.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna tell you, my last year I got kicked out. This is crazy shit. I got kicked out.
I want to hear it.
No, not my last year, but I got kicked out, man, because I was big into entertaining. I did talent shows all the time. I put my crew together. I was attending a predominantly white school, and I put my crew together of different cats from all over because it was like back in Virginia where I'm from, it's called Hampton Road. There's 7 cities, and they call it 7 cities. Okay. So it's 7 cities like the size of Portland surrounding each other.
Like Wilsonville and all those places around.
Yeah. So we used to just know each other from hooping and all that stuff. So I put my crew together and put together Belle Biv DeVoe. And I put the dancers together, and so at the predominantly white high school, which they can count on their hand how many Negroes go to that school. All my boys walked up on stage when it's time for us to perform, and they lost their shit because it was like they don't go.
Oh my! So wait, were you guys a singing group?
It was Poison, Spider-Man and Freezing for the fact.
Can you perform right now for us? Carl's gonna stand up and perform his hit song.
I can't. My niece is hurt.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hold on, I love it, man.
Girl, it's poison. That's the song you're singing?
Before I sweat to meet a fly girl.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it's some
poison.
I just want that soundbite of Carl going,
you know.
She's so fine.
At some
Carl's having
point,
flashbacks.
There's going to be so many of these little musical moments in our podcast. We'll be able to release an album.
Yeah.
Just Carl. Carl sings the
We just have all these covers of songs that we sing horribly wrong to.
You ever started? You ever get that song in your head? Now you can't let it go.
Can't let it go. I do it all the time. I have this weird thing of I'll take like Drake songs or like popular rap songs and I'll sing them in different ways.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like I'll sing it in like a I don't know, like a Frank Sinatra kind of vibe. Like Drake, I'll be like, I should be downtown tripping on the way to you. Or like a weird white dad. You've got something that belongs to me.
Weird dad karaoke vibe.
Your body language says it all.
I don't know one fucking Drake song.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
You probably do, but don't realize it.
You definitely do.
Bruh, I'm old school hip hop. Look with this. This is basically the pattern
Hold on, we're going home.
Run
Run
DMC.
DMC, yeah.
Thank you.
You know, Hold On, We're Going Home? I got my
Is that a slave song? What the fuck?
No.
Wade
in the water.
Oh, we going home. Hold on, we
Gosh
going
dang
home.
it. You know Drake songs.
I don't.
Bro, what?
I remember the video he filmed in Beaverton at the Nike.
Yeah, that was a newer one.
That's it. I don't.
Best I ever had.
Hold on. Kiki, are you right?
Yeah, that's a big song. That's one of his like radio hits. So
That's why.
So it's Best I Ever Had. You've heard that one too.
I don't know.
I
don't
You're
know.
all I ever wanted. We could do it real big, bigger than you.
You
ever
know what's so
done it.
crazy is, Matty, like, I guarantee if you and I know some songs, I can see off the top of my head. Boom, and you'll be like, oh, I know that. But I know you know this. Like, there's some songs from our era, 90s, that I can say, because Zach is a music lover. So that's one thing I appreciate about him. It's like, watch this. I'm just going to do this shit off the top of my head, and I bet you Zach already know what I'm going to do.
Don't mess this up.
No, here you go. Check, baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. See?
I'm out here.
Watch
I'm
this.
out
Let me
here.
see. Let me see if there's another one. I need an around the way girl.
Nope.
Oh shit, that was LL
Nope.
Cool J.
I didn't listen to a lot of LL. I did listen to some LL, but I was more like later LL.
I'm
He
like-
started falling off.
The licking lips, LL.
The Kango hat, LL. The fucking Kango hat.
I like how you're trying to cue him in on 90s. You got to go 80s if you want to see if he knows. He probably does too.
Yeah,
that's the
know
thing.
some.
Like a true music person. Like I was
spot.
that kid. Like I'd be over at my grandparents' house or somebody older's house, aunt or uncle, and they'd put on some obscure like a Motown record, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like singing the lyrics, and my parents would be confused as hell because
Motown.
all they listened to was like country.
Hold on, you said Motown.
Motown.
Oh yeah, I could believe that, Matty.
And so I'd be singing along, and some of these parents would be like, "Who is this kid?" Like his parents are from a farm, and
Yeah,
singing Motown songs and stuff like that. But I blame. In some ways, I blame their bad musical taste on giving me good musical taste because I was listening to some horrible stuff. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. I don't want to bag on it too much. It just when you really hate something and it's played over and over and over.
You
again,
really hate something.
It forces you to analyze any music you listen to from there on.
Right.
For any signs of that bullshit.
I was like that with country music for the longest time because it reminded me of my childhood, and my childhood was kind of a traumatic experience, and it was always country music was really sad. Like 90s and 80s country music was super sad, and now it's kind of developed more into like, I mean, there's some fun songs. There's really there's really good songs out there, but it just reminded me of that, and it always would put me in a sad place. So I avoided country music for the longest time. But
that's probably why you graduated.
I love it now. Yeah, true.
Well.
Stop listening to country music.
Well, I don't know if there's a direct correlation, but you should always be careful what kind of music you fuck to.
True.
And here's why: like if you have a child, if you conceive a child on the night that you fuck to something, it's going to affect the outcome of the child. Yeah. Like I think if you listen to some good music, right, you're gonna have a kid that does well. But I feel like if you conceive and you're listening to country music.
Man.
Special needs.
My parents must have been listening to Prince.
You're risking having a special needs.
Well, at my age, like me and my girl, we fuck the infomercial so we can turn it up so the grandkids won't hear that shit.
Carl's like, mesothelioma.
Yeah, so the kids won't hear that shit.
Every time if you got mesothelioma, Carl gets a boner. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Every time the commercial comes on, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Baby powder.
Baby powder.
I start having.
Is it that time already?
All he has to hear is
speaking of that.
All you have to hear is a sound.
Speaking of that time, hey, what the fuck?
Facts.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do some fun with the fuck facts.
What the fuck?
So what I like to do is I like to drop some just random stupid facts out there and just see what the fellas can do with it, because it's a lot of stuff we don't even know. Like, for example, fellas, have you ever heard of the word niggly wiggly?
Oh, I've heard that one time. I can't remember what it means. I think I heard it on Wild and Out.
Okay. Niggly wiggly. Wild and Out probably got the wrong definition. Niggly wiggly. The Hershey kiss?
Yeah, it's the little tail thing.
Yes. The niggly wiggly. So I don't know.
Maybe it was on TikTok I saw.
Was this like a marketing campaign thing where they wanted to make like a big deal out of that little
in the chocolate? So it's chocolate in there. So
I'm not gonna say it ever.
And you're not gonna say what?
What that thing?
Say it.
That'd be like
Nilly Willy.
Nilly Willy.
That'd be like if they had like a regular Piggly Wiggly's grocery store and only whites could go, but then we have Niggly Wigglies. You guys can go over there. It's just like our store, but
Piggly Wiggly's.
Everything is expired and dusty on the shelves, and we're out of most everything.
Well, wait a minute.
That's what they would have done. They would have given you like a shitty store. It was like almost good, but it didn't have the same brands, just so you could feel it. I feel like
almost the dollar store.
All that stuff was so deliberate, like we're gonna make them feel as bad as we can.
So Hope would have had to drive right past Niggly Wiggly to take Miss Daisy to the Piggly.
Exactly.
Hope, I can't go in y'all's.
Yeah. No, we don't shop there. We shop at the other store.
I'm gonna make us a shirt with a fake grocery store on it, and it says Niggly Wigglies on it, and we'll wear them for a show.
I thought you couldn't say it. I thought you didn't.
I said Niggly Wiggly. I said Nickly.
You said that shit.
I said Nick Lee Wiggly.
See, you're bad influence on a car. Don't make him too comfortable. It's gonna be a Chappelle thing. Carl's gonna quit the show. Like, I can't stand what I was doing to Zach.
I ain't going to Africa though.
Yeah, he already got the end racism shirt on. I can't say the word anymore.
Okay, so here's another one. A person hates you for one of three reasons. What do you think they are?
Ooh,
how you look.
They can't trust you.
Okay, they want to be you.
Oh.
They hate themselves. They see you as a threat.
Right.
Which is
So those are the three reasons why
that's
people.
true.
Why
I
people
would
about
venture
it.
to say number 2 is usually the reason.
Let me
Wait,
see.
what was this? What was number 2 again?
They hate themselves.
Yeah, insecurities is a big
Insecurities.
thing. We were just talking about that on the way over
Sure
here.
were.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fear is definitely. I would go number 2, then
I
number
feel like
3,
I feel
then
like
number 1. That's how I
7
rate
times
that.
out of 10, it's number 2.
And this is this right here relates relationships a lot.
Yeah.
Once you dislike someone, everything they do from then on irritates the out of you.
I can attest to that.
Yes, it's something about, man, once that shift happens in a relationship and they just like, oh, I can't stand this mom. I hate
Changes
the
your
way he
perspective.
breathes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You chew so loud.
You don't see them the same.
But it's this. But if you flip that, and once you like fall for a person or you like them, everything they do you love. Like everything's cute or everything's attractive. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It is.
Like,
In the beginning, that shit is so cute. Oh my God.
yeah, the way you
look at
sneeze,
him.
it's so cute. But then like at the end, it's like stop sneezing, bitch.
Exactly.
Why you always sneezing?
Exactly.
You got allergies?
You know, Dale, he sneezes like that. He never fucking finishes it. Like, finish your fucking sneeze. Oh.
You never finish anything you start, let alone a sneeze.
Finish your sneeze.
sneeze.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, is that all the ones you have today?
No, I got a few more.
let's go. Give us a
Hey,
couple
blue.
more.
But wait a minute, these aren't facts yet.
Yeah, they're not.
Like-
It's kind of just like
These are more like
No, what?
discoveries.
interesting thoughts.
Okay, how about this
interesting
one?
thoughts.
A blue whale's fart bubbles are large enough to enclose a horse.
See, I've heard different versions of this, but the version that I last remember hearing was a VW bug, which is about that would make sense for the horse
Yeah.
thing. They could
Yeah.
both be true.
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
what I want to know is that just we measured one fart that was this big, or were they out there like
Just one
'cause
fart?
you know how science works?
man.
Were they out there like we got to get 10 farts and average out the size?
Or was there like a horse on a boat and it fell off and they're like, oh shit, oh it's okay, we got it back. It fell in the blue whale's bubble, came
just
back up.
floating
That's how I
around,
got it.
floating around.
Oh, weird fact: blue whale can fart as big as a horse.
To enclose.
Floats back.
You know what
A
I want
horse.
to? That's where I want to be like. What are we paying you for? Like these scientists, like that's what you came back with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, man. We giving
there's
them
cancer
millions
right
and millions
now.
of dollars.
There's cancer right now, and there's starvation, and
To
there's
wait.
malaria, and there's country music, and we haven't cured
there's
any of
big
this stuff
bubble
yet.
farts.
But let's give you this 20 million so we can wait for this whale to fart. A blue whale. A blue whale. At that, a blue
Yeah,
whale.
they're just sitting there in a little submarine box, just
You know what it is, though? I think it's like, so imagine yourself as a scientist, right? And you're like, imagine you're respectable and you're doing this great, amazing thing, and you have all these wild hypotheses that you're trying to prove with all of your experiment. And every time you try to talk about it, no one cares. And then you end up finally realizing, like, oh, it's the whale fart facts is really what people want. They don't like, because that's how what
The weird
society's
shit, yeah.
become. So then pretty soon you got to be like, the average length of a giraffe's vagina, you know, and that because that's all people will pay attention to. You like
Yes.
you publish a paper on how, like, you know, if you follow lions around long enough, we've discovered that they know where sources of water are that are underground, which could have life-saving implications for nearby villages that have actually experienced death due to dehydration. Right? That's one thesis they turn in, published paper, no shares. 2 likes, no shares, right? But then they're like, giraffe vagina, and then people are just viral.
what?
Giraffe vagina.
The giraffe vagina becomes the best thing you ever, you know, reported on for your
I mean,
whole scene.
honestly, dude, that's the truth. Because I remember when they showed that giraffe give birth. Remember that? Remember that? It was a while back, a few years ago, and I just kept watching that video over and over again.
I don't get
how
that
the
channel.
baby giraffe just fell out between. And you know,
It sound like that.
A fucking giraffe like 8 feet, so the baby had a long fall. Like, whoa.
Yeah, like the baby's short
They give
life
birth- they just give
actually
birth-
flashed before its own eyes because
and
it
he
had
couldn't
long
stand
enough
up.
to
The
fall.
legs was dangling because he's still weak. And
They give birth in water next to blue whales, so they just right into the bubble.
Right.
right into the bubble.
I used to talk about this a lot, how when people say things like, you know, isn't my baby cute?
Yeah.
And then they show you the picture, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a comic, so the first
Right.
thing that goes through my head is like, no, it's not only is your baby not cute, but if you compare baby humans to any other babies on the planet, not only are they fucking ugly as shit, but they're useless. Like literally, like
True.
giraffes have to
I've always
stand
thought of
and
that.
run within like 2
I've always
hours
thought
of
of that.
birth. They have to
It
stand
takes us so
and
long to
run.
do shit.
because there's predators.
Oh, so that's why that baby got up so fast.
Right, a human baby just lays the fuck on the ground for months.
Cries.
Just for
Can't
months.
figure it out.
Whining and shit.
High maintenance.
Bitching and shit.
Right. So what I'm saying is fuck adopting babies and having babies. Get a giraffe.
Get a giraffe.
Get a giraffe.
Far superior.
Within 2 minutes.
Way cuter.
Well, that bitch gonna run off.
Exactly. He was going to...
You gotta catch it. I'm here.
That's the other thing.
Here it comes.
You're
Get a hoof right to the face. Is it a hoof? They have hoofs.
You're absolutely right. That's the other thing that's great about getting a giraffe instead of a kid is like nowadays kids aren't going to leave until they're like 28.
Oh yeah.
You know, you get yourself a giraffe as soon as it's an adult, it's off. It's out exploring the world and causing so many questions locally. Like, why is there a giraffe?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen giraffes fight?
Yes.
Oh
No.
my! They swing their
Swing their
necks.
heads and their necks together.
Dude,
No.
so hard.
Yeah.
That's how they kill each other.
That's how they kill each other.
Dude, they fight until they die.
Nobody ever talks about that giraffe on giraffe violence.
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
Nobody ever talks
They
about
swing it
that.
like this, and it's so funny because it takes so long. It looks like one of those things at the car lots, you know, the air in them, and they're
Like two of those fighting.
and they swing it around. They just bring it all the way, and they get some velocity too.
What if animals just fuck with us?
They do.
No, but
They have to.
I mean, think
Say, what if they do?
Yeah.
They do.
No,
They
think
do.
about this for a minute. Like, what if, like, they always know you're there, right? So when
Yeah.
you're filming these nature shows and you're getting this natural behavior, like, what if animals are smarter than we think? They're like, dude, here comes the humans again. Do the weird shit.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jake,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
Jake, watch this
Throw
shit.
some shit on them.
Like giraffes don't
These
ever.
little monkeys, Jake, watch them put my finger in
Yeah.
your butt. It's gonna be funny.
Right. Like giraffes actually don't fight that way, but when they see us coming, they're like, dude, let's do the fight thing.
Exactly. And
They don't ever fight. They just made
Right.
it
In
up.
reality,
Yeah.
they're just like horses. They rear up and kick the shit out of each other, but
And
we
the gor-
never see it.
And the
because they
gorilla
see us.
never threw shit on somebody until that day. Like, watch this.
Like, yeah, like
Watch this.
silverback
That's so
gorillas
funny.
in the
Bitch.
wild.
Taking pictures of me, bitch.
Watch this, bitch. TMZ that, bitch.
Like silverbacks in the wild, extremely gentle, docile
Yeah.
creatures. But when they know they're on camera, suck.
Exactly.
Say something.
Exactly.
Flex on them. That shit's so funny.
All right,
Is that,
you
is
want-
that all of them?
All right, hit the sound effect again. Hit the sound effect again.
Hey, what the fuck?
Facts. All right.
Pull it up.
In this episode, I have a few stories. These are things that actually happened.
Okay.
I wanted to share with you. The last time we talked about a weird story that actually happened, it was in Florida. So I feel like we needed one more Florida
Florida?
story. So this story might be considered a hero tale, but that's up to you, the viewer, to decide.
Bum, bum, bum.
A Florida snorkeler finds $1.5 million worth of cocaine. That's right. That's right.
Magical moment.
$1.5 million worth of cocaine were discovered floating in a bale, as they describe it, off of the Florida Keys.
Oh, yeah, that was a Cuban family.
Now, the interesting thing about this fact is that the snorkeler, he swam it all the way ashore, and like a good citizen, he donated it to the local police. And what I meant to, like on the news story, it says that he surrendered it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, congratulations to the Florida Keys police on
Get it?
your recent acquisition.
Keys. Snorkeler.
That's how they got their
Keys.
name. That's how
Snorkeler and Keys.
Like, how come Alicia?
Okay.
How come Alicia?
That's a
Keys
made-up
stays so
story.
fit? That's how.
That's a made up story. What's the guy's name?
All right.
What's his name?
I might
Scuba
actually.
Steve?
I might actually have his name.
Oh, really?
Let's see. Monroe. His last name is Monroe. That's all I got.
Maryland.
So that's number one. The next Florida story.
Back to Florida.
You could just do only Florida stories.
True.
But this story was published on February 25th, 2021, and a Florida man blacked out, or he claimed to black out, before severing, quote unquote, his wife's lover's penis. That's right. He says he blacked out before severing his wife's lover's penis.
That takes me back to Lorena
Lorena Bobbitt. I was just going to
Mm-hmm.
say Lorena
That
Bobbitt.
in Virginia Beach, man.
That was Virginia Beach?
Because he was a military guy.
right?
He was a military guy before, in Virginia's military.
Jeez,
So
cut his thing off.
This one's slightly different for a few reasons. One of the reasons is that the Florida man allegedly used a pair of scissors to cut off his wife's lover's penis. He claims he blacked out during the attack. And the other interesting thing about this is he pled guilty, right? And they were basically saying that he barged into the victim's home, threatened him with a handgun. So he had a gun, right? And a metal pipe. Okay, now let's keep track of this story for a minute.
Is this Clue?
Homeboy's got a gun, a metal pipe, and some scissors. Then, with all of these things, he somehow tied up the man in his own bedroom, right? He's holding a gun, a knife, or a gun, scissors, and a pipe, and rope, and he's tying this guy up in his own bedroom somehow. And he says to the man, his wife's lover, "You're not going to die, but you're going to have something to remember this for your whole life." Then he took a pair of scissors and, quote unquote, began cutting the man's penis, splattering blood everywhere, continuing to threaten the man before leaving the home with the severed organ. Now let's stop there for a minute. He commits the crime and then he leaves the home with the severed organ. And this is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that the victim's daughters were in the house during the incident.
Oh, goodness.
And so, like, they didn't even try to go get the dick back. Like, that's, come on.
Back.
Come on, kids. Help your dad out.
Back.
Get that dick. You want a little brother later? You better get that dick back.
you better get that dick back.
That's the first reason that was interesting. And the second reason is the end of the article says, doctors have been unable to reattach the victim's penis, and he's been having trouble with bodily functions afterwards. The gentleman, last name Bonilla, faces 30 years in prison. Here's what this means. Did it not just say that the guy fled with the severed penis? But then the end of the article said doctors have been unable to reattach the victim's penis.
Because they don't have it. That's why.
They arrested him and it's in his pocket.
This is what I call shitty ass reporting.
That's bad.
The most important part of the whole story is
Where'd the penis go?
What happened between the time when he fled with the illicit penis and then he just had a change of heart. Apparently, like, drove back and like, oh, never mind, just kidding.
Well, that's the same thing Lorena did.
I thought she threw it
and then went back, but she called him and told him. She called. I
thought she threw out the window.
She did, but she called the cops and told
Didn't
them.
get ran over?
I don't know. They put it back on him though.
She threw it in like a field or something.
Yeah, they put it back on him. They put it back on him.
And that guy lost that game of cock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, so those are just those are just
scissors beats cock.
Look,
Scissors beats cock. Cock. Scissors beats cock, dude. Scissors beats cock. Cuts it off.
This ain't mine.
And I'm taking it. And I'm taking it with me.
So that's it for Florida.
Shit.
You want hold up? That's not it for Florida, Matty. We just talked about this the other day.
I like it.
Florida man allegedly proposed to one girlfriend using rings he stole from another. Florida is fucked.
No, Florida is recycling, and that should be respected.
What? Is there something in the water?
Well, look at the dude. Doesn't he look like the dude from the Green Mile?
He does. Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah,
he's like
peace. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He's a fit
He
version
swole.
of
He
Michael
probably just punked it. He probably deboed him for that shit. Like, it's my rings now, punk. How much you got on my engagement? I ain't got nothing.
But like, how did we find out? Like, how did the press find? Like, that's
Yeah,
what, like,
Because somebody,
came to
the girlfriend told
You
him.
ain't gonna
And he
believe
was
it.
arrested.
he
shit.
openly admitted.
Well, he was arrested because she put it together. She was like, "Where my fucking rings? Oh shit, Dante was over here," and she just lost it. Probably.
It's got every girl's like initials
Exactly.
engraved, and he just scratches them out and engraves another initial.
But the crazy thing is all the amazing pics they have of this guy. This guy just like, she looks good right there. They got him in some nice pics. He does not look like, he looked like a pro. It looked like the peoples.com.
He looks pretty respectable.
He looks like,
Yeah,
he
he
looks
doesn't look-
handsome. He looks like, I wouldn't hurt a
Doesn't
fly.
like he would do that.
He's just thrifty.
yeah.
That's all it is. He's trying to make some money
He could
back.
have just
on
bought
that.
a new ring at Ross or something.
I wouldn't hurt a fly, but I would steal one.
Right.
I would steal a fly.
All right, I got one more for
One
you.
more.
Oh, gosh.
One more. We're
more
going to
for
wrap
you.
up the show.
And this one is interesting to me. I would like to figure out what you guys think about a few things on this story. So I'm gonna do this in parts, and then what I want to do is comment as we go.
Let's do it.
So the headline is, and this was published 5 days ago. This is fresh. Okay, this is from Louisiana.
Oh, not Florida.
A Louisiana priest, 2 dominatrices, they spelled it real weird instead of dominatrixes, charged with vandalism after altar threesome.
Oh, so they banged on the altar.
What?
That's what you call leaving it at the altar.
Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that headline again, because the first 2 things are interesting. So now we know somebody banged on the altar, right? But humans have short attention spans. So let me reread the first 2 words.
Okay.
Louisiana priest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I caught that.
I caught that.
And 2 dominatrixes charged with vandalism for having a threesome. Okay, so
did he?
Let's before we dive into this. So you have a threesome, but you get charged with vandalism.
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
That's what I'm trying to say. What did he do? Did he just shoot off everywhere like, all in a pulpit? Oh.
Holy water.
Exactly. Like,
These dominatrixes are just like tagging their names in graffiti.
the power of Christ will compel you. The power of Christ will compel you. The power of Christ will compel you. You know what that's from, Zach?
Yeah.
What?
A movie.
What movie?
Is it from This Is the End?
No, The Exorcist.
No, there's one from This Is the End, too, though.
1970-ish.
Yeah, there's a lot
It's
of
from This Is the End.
He was in there just
Okay, my generation is This Is the End, and it was with Jonah Hill. He turns into the demon. Have you seen that movie?
Right.
No.
It's been parodied a lot.
It's so funny.
His reality is the parody.
The
of
parodies, that's all it is.
I mean, I've seen The
parodies.
Exorcist, but
You get the
that's an
parodies.
old one.
Okay, so let's go a little further into this. So right beneath the title, the secondary title is Church's altar was burned and a new one has been consecrated.
Oh my gosh.
Not that they burned it, like the people charged with vandalism.
Hey, it's funny
The
because
church burned it because now it's full of the devil. And they had to,
The demon semen.
But it's funny because the second part, read the last part of that.
right. A new one was consecrated.
It sounds so close to consummated. Like they just fucked again in the new one.
That's hilarious.
Like the new one was consummated.
to break in the new one.
Exactly. That's what
So
it
they
is.
burnt it again.
Yeah, they burnt it again. That demon semen.
The 2 women were initially charged by police with obscenity, which makes way more sense than vandalism.
Exactly.
Following the alleged tryst last September inside Saints Peter and Paul Catholic Church in
Isn't that
Pearl
a
River.
group?
Right, it's Peter, Paul, and
Isn't that a
well, no, Mary got kicked out of that.
Oh,
group.
but
It's
yeah,
just Peter and Paul now.
Yeah.
just Peter and Paul?
Very.
It's really hard to do doo-wop with only 2. So then this says, but the St. Tammy's Parish District Attorney's Office, which means the priest's lawyer, announced there would be lesser charges for the unholy trinity who were busted after a passerby saw them through a church window and reported it to the police. He claims the 2 dominatrixes were wearing corsets and high heels during the threesome, which was being recorded according to court documents.
That's what I was going to have to say. That dude really got a detail.
So not only is he consecrating new altars, he's like violating the altar because now it's full of the devils, but they're filming the whole thing, right? The women told the cops that they were at the church to film a role play with the priest. Cops determined everything that went on that night was consensual, but initially arrested the trio on the obscenity charges because they were in view of the public. And then it repeats, the church's altar was burned and it was consecrated last.
Just let people know, trust, it's okay, it was burned. But
It's okay.
But no, that dude was peeking through the window.
Yeah. He tried to join and they wouldn't let him join. So he's like, that's it.
He filmed it, went home and beat off and felt bad. Was like,
What actually
that's
happened?
my daddy's church.
I was baptized in that same spot.
And I got more of these, so this is going to be...
That one's
me and
crazy.
I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah,
I
me and
love
Carl
dumb
are going to
shit.
be bringing you some
I like
interesting
that.
stories.
I like
and
that. I might even pop up with one or two here.
Asking Zach more about his history.
Exactly.
But what else do we got coming up
me
on
on
the
the spot.
Heckleproof podcast?
Oh,
yeah.
speaking of what you just talked about, Kind of fits in with that.
Oh yeah, we got some interesting. I think it's for female and men. I think it's for because we got my girl Karina coming in next episode, and she's gonna be she specializes in sex toys, and yes, she specializes. You can specialize in that shit. Right. So that's her. She's out there promoting it, and
Carl will be testing some out on the show.
Live on the air. Carl sits on a Sibian.
So that's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be different.
Yeah, it'll spark some conversations for sure.
So yeah, tune into that coming up soon, and don't forget, man, you guys that are, and ladies that are watching, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget that
to our YouTube channel if you're watching right now on YouTube.
Nothing.
It costs nothing, and you can also follow us on all the streaming networks as well too if you're just listening and tuning in that way. So don't forget, Heckleproof is our handle everywhere. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, online, and all.
Just type in Heckleproof, all one word.
That's right. All right, guys, that's episode 3.
Love
y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Love it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow us wherever fine podcasts are streaming.